The purpose of this presentation is to become familiar with the community plan designations. These designations are used in the community plan maps to identify where and what type of development the community envisions. Before we talk about community plan designations, it is important to understand where community plans are in the many layers of land use controls. This image shows the land use layers from general to specific. The state land use districts are the broadest. Then there are 3 county layers. The first county layer is the Maui Island Plan growth boundaries. The MIP growth boundaries are more specific than the state land use districts and establish the location and type of future development, where to grow. The community plan designations provide more specificity about the placement and character of future growth, how to grow. Finally, Maui County Code, zoning districts. Zoning districts regulate land use intensity by specifying the dimensions and location of development on a parcel of land. It is important to keep in mind that we are operating at the level of community plan designations, not zoning. The updated designations align with the Maui Island Plan's Directed Growth Plan's primary objective: to ensure our developments, towns, and neighborhoods offer a high quality of life by fostering complete, equitable, and healthy communities that meet the needs of residents. The updated designations also acknowledge the importance of preserving the character of existing neighborhoods and unique places, while also providing the opportunity for a range of housing types.
Now we'll walk through each of the designations. Each designation has a description of the uses and essential factors such as mobility and access to parks. Example images illustrate the development patterns, building types, and typical streets that characterize the designation. There are 2 residential designations: rural residential and residential. Rural residential aims to preserve rural character and serve as a transition between agriculture and more urban development. Large lot subdivisions and family farms characterize these areas. Examples of rural residential are the Pukalani neighborhood behind Foodland and the Makawao neighborhood below Eddie Tam and Maui Meadows. The residential designation encourages a range of housing types to provide mixed neighborhoods and affordability. Parks, schools, and small-scale neighborhood-serving commercial uses are included. Pedestrian, bike, and bus connections promote mobility, equity, and health. Examples of residential around the island include Lahainaluna neighborhoods in North Kihei, Kehalani in Wailuku, and Kuau Bayview in Paia.
The 4 mixed-use designations, Rural Village, Neighborhood Center, Small Town Center, and Transit-Oriented Corridor, have a similar combination of residential, commercial, and public uses. The main differences are the scale and density of development and the number of neighborhoods they serve. The purpose is to capture the subtle differences in our communities. Hanatown is lower density and intensity, while Kahului is higher density and intensity, and are further distinguished by their location and character. The rural village designation is intended to preserve the character of rural towns. Rural villages are relatively small and include a mix of commercial services and public quasi-public uses that support nearby communities and may include limited residential. Ke'okea, near Grandma's Coffee House, is a great example, as well as Pauela Cannery in Haiku. Neighborhood Center is similar to rural village, but located in a more urban or suburban setting. Neighborhood centers provide services that support nearby residential neighborhoods with pedestrian-oriented commercial nodes. The shops across from the Honokowai Beach Park are a great example. Small Town Center is similar to Neighborhood Center. However, Small Town Center covers a larger area and serves more neighborhoods. A vertical mix of uses with ground floor commercial and second floor apartments and medium density housing types are encouraged. As with all of the mixed-use designations, parks, schools, and safe walking, biking, and bus service are an important part of the mix. Examples of Small Town Center are Paia Town and Pukalani Town Center. Transit-Oriented Corridor is the most dense and intense of the mixed-use designations. It is intended to create transit-friendly areas with higher density commercial, employment, light industrial, and residential uses, characterized by pedestrian-friendly activity centers, vibrant street life, and multimodal corridors. In transit-oriented corridor, you might live in an apartment or townhome and take the bus to work, kids may ride bikes to school, and families can walk to the park or a cafe. Potential examples are Ka'ahumanu Avenue and Lahaina Gateway area. Ka'ahumanu Avenue and Lahaina Gateway today don't exactly match the designation for transit-oriented corridor, but over time, with infill development and redevelopment, as well as adding more bus service, bike paths, and safe sidewalks, these areas can better serve our communities.
Resort hotel is typically medium to high density with a broad range of uses primarily intended to serve visitors. Ka'anapali and parts of Wailea are good examples. Employment centers are intended to encourage a range of employment uses like light manufacturing, processing and business incubators, and include amenities that serve the employees, such as restaurants, retail, and live-work spaces. Examples include the light industrial area near Lahaina Gateway and the Wailuku industrial area above Ho'okahi Street. The industrial designation is intended to permit intense industrial and manufacturing activities. An example is the Pu'unene sugar mill. The Special Purpose District designation is intended for uses that are so unique, no other designation can apply. Airports are the most prominent example. The Public Quasi-Public designation is intended to provide facilities for public use or benefit. Many of the uses in this designation are allowed in other designations, such as churches and schools, but this designation is typically for planned or existing larger-scale government, nonprofit, or educational uses. UHMC and the Lahaina Civic Center are examples.
The Park Community Plan designation is intended to preserve and manage lands for recreational activities, including golf courses and related amenities. Examples include our county beach parks, neighborhood parks, and regional parks like Keopuolani. The Open Space Community Plan designation is intended to preserve and manage lands for Native Hawaiian traditional and customary uses, while protecting sensitive ecological resources, scenic resources, and drainage ways and greenbelts. Open space areas support natural processes such as flood management and erosion control. Many of our gulches across the island are good examples, as well as Lipoa Point. The agriculture designation promotes agriculture development, protects agriculture resources, and supports the island's agricultural character, economy, and lifestyle. Examples include the Kula Ag Park and Kaanapali Coffee Farms. Finally, the State Conservation designation recognizes lands within the State Conservation District and protects wilderness areas, beaches, watersheds, and other sensitive areas. Examples include Ahihi Kina'u Natural Area Reserve and Pu'ukukui Watershed. Ahui ho.